Hey guys, it's Nancy, and I just did a video showing the new Glimmer card front sentiments. There are 6 Glimmer card front sentiments. I had to have them all because they just made it so easy for me to use up pattern paper that's been sitting there and make 6 cards. So buy me craft supplies and call me pretty. Best wishes on your birthday. All of my favorite things: pizza, coffee, cake, and you. Little card, big hugs. This card is full of hugs. And a giant thank you. So there are 6 cards that I made very easily. Also part of this release is the Hello Blooms stencil and the Hello Blooms die, which is separate. So here's the stencil. It is a full 8.5 by 11 stencil. It is divided into 4 sections. I have not tried it yet, so we will learn it together. There is a little number here, and they're registration marks. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these little dots are registration marks. And then the stencil, I've already cut out the words hello. It is called Hello Blooms. So you get the shadow die, which I have cut out of here, and then you get the very fine scripted hello. And I've already die cut these, and the O is separate. So this is what it's going to look like once we have it all glued together. So I'm just going to put that aside for a second, and then here is the die for the main image, which we are going to stencil. So this is separate. The stencil and the die is separate. I just want to see if I have this lined up correctly. I don't want to cut it backwards. I guess we'll figure it out when I'm done, huh? I don't know, kids. We'll figure it out. Okay, so let's just move all this aside. So I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 super smooth cardstock. This is Hammermill 80 pound. Use what you have. And I'm assuming this is the front of the stencil because all of the numbers are written here. I do have one little stencil piece that didn't pop out. And one over here. I just want to make sure that they are all good to go. All right, and then I just have a blending brush and some purple inks. Let me see if I can raise my camera a little bit for you guys. Okay, this is high as it's going to go. All right, so I'm going to use some washi tape just to tape this down. Although we're really only going to be doing this first quadrant and then layering on top of it. So let's just get into it. All right, so the first color I'm going to use is soft lilac, and we're just going to focus on this quadrant right here. I wonder if I could, no, I'm sure you have to move it around. Never mind. Never mind. I am going to go over my little registration, little dashes and dots there, so I can line everything up correctly. I have not used this, so this will be a first time. See how this comes out. I'm starting with my lightest color first. Okay, that was soft lilac, layer number 1. Okay, so number 2, actually, I did that wrong. That was layer number 3. Nance, not paying attention. Okay, we'll come back to that one. All right, so number 1 is this guy here. We'll just come back to that. Now you know I do this without editing it. Okay. Back to number 1, which is up here. Line my stencil back up. We'll fix that one in a second. Good thing I started with the lightest color. Whoopsie! So number 1 doesn't have very many things going on here. It's just these 3 flowers, really. All right, so that's layer number 1. Layer number 2, I'm just going to do all 4 quadrants here. This is number 2. I'm going to do that one in Lavender Fields. Let's see if I can make 4 cards out of this. 4 card fronts. So number 2 is our dark... Whoop! Make sure your stencil doesn't move. Boy, oh boy. Okay, we're going to do that again. Replay. Act like you didn't see that. You know, I wonder if these little things are supposed to be green. Guess we'll find out here in a moment. All right, so number 2 is darker. Number 3, which is the one I messed up on, we're going to go back in with Deep Iris. I will layer the other layers on top of these. You'll see what I'm doing here in a second. So Deep Iris is number 3. You can see that it is a much darker purple. Layering it right on top of my mistake color. Layering stencils are so popular. I think they're easier to do and people like them, and there's so much different varieties in them. Okay, and then layer 4, we're going in with Midnight Violet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be greenery, and I just went in with purple. We're going to find out, folks. That's okay. All right, now let's move our stencil. So we know that that's supposed to be number 1. Let's put layer number 2 on top of it. All right, so I can see where the petals are supposed to be for layer number 2. I'm going to put that there, line that up. Number 2 is Lavender Fields. And again, you have the registration marks to help you line up too. All right. Layer number 3 is the one I messed up down here. All right, and I can see my little registration bubbles. Come on, quit sticking. All right, so that is layer 3. We're going to go in with Deep Iris. Actually, I should probably use greens because that's what it looks like it's supposed to be. So 1 and 2 are purples and 3 and 4s are green. So slide this out of here. I'm going to do it right. This is how we learn. One and 2 are your colors. 3 and 4s, I think, are your greens. All right. So, grab green brush, green inks. now that I see my boo-boo. Okay, so we're working on this top quadrant here. So we've already done 1 and 2, and there are little numbers here that tell you what order they're in. So this is 1, this is 2. So those are your colors, these are your greens at the bottom. So now I'm going to line up 3. And the little dots here, here, and here all line up for my dots for registration. So they cover the flowers. No, I just moved them. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to put a little piece of tape on my paper since there isn't any. Hopefully I don't move it. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with Grassy Knoll, which is a lighter green from Pink Fresh Studios. Use whatever inks you have. I recommend dye inks because they dry a little faster. Now I've left the centers of the flowers. I'm going to go on with my darker purple and do the centers of the flowers in purple instead of green. All right, so while I'm here, let me ask you guys. Do you guys prefer that I edit my mistakes out, or are you glad that I leave my mistakes in? I prefer not to edit them because I think you guys should see the mistakes that I make, so that way you don't make the same mistakes I make. And I like to show you how I correct my mistakes or how I learn. But you guys let me know down in the comments. Do you like my videos with the mistakes in, or do you prefer I could have stopped this video and started all over and did it from the beginning without those mistakes? Okay, so I'm going in with color 3, which was Deep Iris, and I'm just going to do the centers of my flowers with it. Just curious. I know a lot of you guys don't like the longer videos. That's usually when I'm making a lot of mistakes. Okay, that is number 3. Now we're going to slide on over. That is coming together beautifully to number 4. I suppose you could cut the stencil into 4 if you wanted to. Okay, that looks almost lined up. I am going to shift it a little bit and use my eyeballs here. Sometimes your eyeballs are better than registration marks, especially if your registration marks aren't straight. So like in this case, that looks a little better to me than the registration marks. Slightly off, but not by a lot. Okay, and I think this is also supposed to be greens. So I'm going to go in with Key Lime, which is a darker green. Now on this one, I probably will go in with a smaller brush and do the centers of the flowers with a smaller brush because they're really teeny tiny. But let me get all this greenery done first. And in this case, I think a brush would be more helpful because it does have a lot of smaller areas, so smaller brushes would be nice. All right, and then for those centers, I'm just going to grab a small brush and some black ink. This is just some VersaFine Clear black ink. You can see these tiny little dots. And I think that completes our correctly stenciled bloom. Let's die cut it and see how it looks. Move my brushes out of the way. All right, ready for the reveal. All right, so then what you would do is you would move this stencil and go, you know, this one's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. So that's how you would use that. Don't do it the way I did it the first time because I totally did not do that correctly. So 1 and 2 would be your colors, 3 and 4 would be your greenery. And you can see that it does come together nicely when you do it the proper way. I am going to cut this down so we can run it through our die cutting system since I do have the dies. And again, I have already pre-cut the word hello, which comes with the dies. You get your shadow and your word. Very thin script there, so be careful. And now let's see. Oh, now we can easily see how this is supposed to line up. And let's cut it out. There is a little bit of a white border. Okay, I think I have that correct. I'll bring in my platinum. Beautiful. Let's glue this together. This is teeny tiny. Okay, don't worry, that glue will dry matte and clear and you won't be able to see it once it's dry. Beautiful. Okay. And I like this color combination, so let's make our card front match this. So I believe that is the Cosmic Blue. Perfect. So it is Cosmic Blue and Lilac Blossom are those two colors. So let's see. Do we want lilac? I think I want the Cosmic Blue for the card base. Oh, that's really pretty. It's really pretty. I think we'll do it that way. So I believe I already have this cut down the side. Let's just double check as things fall off my desk. Okay, so this is 5.5, and we're going to score at 4 1/4. This is nice 100-pound cardstock, so very good for die cutting or card bases or card mats. Whatever you want to do. The perfect size for that card front. Of course, you could pop it up if you wanted to. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's add some Spellbinders gems to this. Gotta have every color. Those are the pink. I think that's pretty good. Do pink or should I do green? I think the pink. They're self-adhesive, so I don't need to add any extra glue. And then I'll just cut a piece of white cardstock to put on the inside here. The hardest part is getting them out of the packaging. Come on. Come on. Oh. Is this glued in here? There we go. Okay. So let's add a couple of these beauties. Ooh. I'm going to add... right to the centers there. Oh, that stuck to my card. There must be a sticky dot in the back here. It keeps sticking. Okay, so let's add a couple more. There we go. All right, and that is the pink Color Essential Gems. So we have the new Hello Blooms Layering Stencil, Hello Blooms die, which comes with the outline die and the Hello Shadow and Sentiment. We use the Cosmic Sky cardstock for our background, and also in the sentiment with the lilac cardstock to cut those out, and then brought in some pink gems. I think that came out beautifully considering the mess I started with. I think that looks absolutely stunning. It was very easy to do, lots of fun. Again, check that out with the new Glimmer Card Front sentiments. You could certainly make this background and then add these sentiments to it if you wanted to, but I liked using them separately, but you could definitely use them together. Check out that video as well. These will all be available May 10th on Spellbinders website. I'll have the links down below. If you have any questions, post them down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up before you leave. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.